Hello, I wanted to create a tutorial to walk you through Easybib in case you were absent on Friday or in case you forgot the steps that you need to take in order to be able to get into the bibliography. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit to give us better clarity, but please let me know if you have any questions. So step one for Easybib is that you do not start entering information at this screen. This is the free version of Easybib, and you are able to enter information and it will generate a list. The problem is, if you do not log in, it will not save anything that you've done, and that will defeat the purpose of using the program. So your first step is to go to www.easybib.com, and in the upper right corner, click this login button. This will take you to a screen. You do not enter a username or password here. Instead, you simply click sign in with Google. Now, if you're at school, you can do this automatically, and it should take you right in, especially if you're on a Chromebook. If you are at home, you need to make sure that you go to google.com first and sign into your SAU73 account. Otherwise, it will not take you into the program because it is a service that is paid for by the school. So if you click sign in with Google and then click your SAU73 account, it should take you into your screen. Now in this upper right corner, to remember that you're logged in, it should say hello, your first name, or your email address. And then you know that you're in. So if you notice my list, I developed a few examples of what are Roman folders. You probably only have one, which is perfectly fine. And you want to make sure that you do not create a new project, that you do not click on anything other than the folder that is already in your Easybib account. So to get to your bibliography, right under your folder, you click the word bibliography, and it should take you into a screen. Now, I have an example of a bibliography from an ebook that if you watch the other tutorial, I'm going to talk about a little later in the clip, but I want to talk about a couple of the options that you're going to use. The first one, book. Now, normally you can put the title of the book in and then scan down the list to find the title of the book that it corresponds to. But for the sake and purposes of this, I always recommend you click manual cite and enter the information yourself. The two options that you would use in the case of our research is an in-print or an online database. In-print means you can physically hold the book in your hands. And what you're going to do is you'll enter the author's name, first name, middle initial, and last name. If there are multiple authors, you would simply click add another contributor, and you can keep adding to the list accordingly. If it has the same name, even though if the authors have the same name, last name, you still need to put both authors in. So make sure you do that. If the book has an editor and an author of a chapter, you would change the first one to an editor, and then you would have an editor and an author option. I know a few of you have edited books and each chapter has a different author, so be mindful of that when you're doing your bibliography. Then you would put the source title, if there's a volume and edition. Publisher would be the publishing company. The city would be the city closest to us. And the year, copyright, date of publication. This information can usually be found on the first couple pages of the book. If you have any questions or you're not sure how to find it, please make sure to ask for help. The other option is online database. And the reason you would use this is if you were actually accessing it through our Gale ebook service on the other tutorial video that I have about how to access the school's databases. You would once again enter corresponding information. Usually it has an author. If it does not have an author, you would leave this blank. In-print information would be any source information about the actual in-print book, because the Gale ebooks are in-print books that have been put into a digital library. So it should have a source title. It may have volume and edition, a publisher, a city of publication, and a copyright year. The database will be whatever Gale's database has, it's a full official name. The date accessed, if it's today's date, you simply click the today button. If it's not, just change it to the date that you accessed it. Now, MLA 7 says you do not need the URL unless the instructor requires it. And in this case, I actually do want you to copy and paste the URL for the ebook. Display the URL yes, so that I'm able to get back to it, and then click create citation. So those are the two options for books. Let's talk about the other few. If you are citing a journal, I had some of you who actually put EBSCO as an option, and journal is a way that you can do that. There's an online version to being able to cite as a journal. If you go to the journal, you would simply click online database and then follow the steps accordingly. Once again, remember, the services that I provided you with actually give you citation examples, and they go in the order down this list. So as you're looking at the list, just simply use that as a way to be able to fill this in correctly. Very few of you will be using journals, but I did want to put that in as an option. The other thing that you may use are the video clips. And how I want you to cite that is by going to Film Online Video, and I want you to go to Online Database. Now, in this case, there are two options that you would select from. It says published as a film, then posted to an online database. In the case of all the film clips that I'm showing, that is actually the case for all of them, except a few. If you're unsure, please ask. You would put the film title, skip main performers, select if it gives you the producer, the writer, the director. It's going to depend. Most of the clips I have producers, and most of them are corporations. So it'd be like National Geographic, Discovery Education, History.com, whatever that may be, it would go in the last corporation here. But if for some reason there is a director, make sure you fill that in correspondingly, however correctly it may appear. Now, if it's a corporation, it would also be your studio distributor, which would go down here, and the year published. Now, for the sake and purposes of this, I'm actually asking you to put the date that it was uploaded because they are smaller clip vignettes, and they don't necessarily give the year published. The database. I would like for you to type in YouTube as the database that you're accessing it from. And date access, you would click whatever date you watched it. If it's today, you click the today button. If not, change accordingly. Then take the YouTube URL and please put it here and click the display yes. And once again, click create citation. For all of the video clips, this should be the tab that you use to cite. Okay? Go back to bibliography. I'm going to show you one more example. Some of you are using Encyclopedia Britannica. So if you go to the second column, the very last option, you click Encyclopedia Article, and in this case, you're actually going to go to Online Database. Now, this is what you need to change. This was not an article that was originally in print. Encyclopedia Britannica was simply printed directly online, so please select that second option. You would put the article title. If it has an author, remember what I told you when you looked at Encyclopedia Britannica, the article contributor is down at the bottom. You would put that in. If there's multiple, you would add another contributor. The site would be Encyclopedia Britannica or Encyclopedia School. Your publisher would be Encyclopedia Britannica. Yes, you need to display the URL, so please put in the URL. Date published would actually be the year. And remember, if you click the little citation check mark in Encyclopedia Britannica, it will tell you when it was published. And the date access, once again, you click today or whatever day that you happen to view it and hit create citation. So the most important thing to remember is please change this to publish directly online. Otherwise, it's going to get confusing. All right, one more thing that I want to show you before I exit out. So all of that is about the citations. This quirky little thing down here, I didn't actually create this. What I did was when you go to the Gale eBooks, there is an option that actually allows you to export your citations to Easybib directly, where you don't need to enter any information. So for research purposes, I would recommend that you use Gale eBooks to look for your stuff as one of the sources, because that will save yourself a step of having to enter in all of this information. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is how to cite an image. And when we come to creating a presentation, I am going to require that you create MLA citations for your digital images. So to do that, you go to all 59 options, you click on digital image, and then you'll enter it accordingly. You'll put the title of the image. If there's not a title, you would describe what you see. You would give the author or corporation that the image appears on. The website title would be the shortened name. So for instance, it came from history.com and then there's this huge URL. Remember, you do all the way up to this first slash mark. So if for instance, this would be easybib.com. I wouldn't put the entire URL. What goes below though is the publisher or sponsor. So if I put history.com and it's A&E History Channel, that would be my publisher. And then I would put the URL, display, and then click create. Okay, so those are the options of how to develop your bibliography. If you should come across any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Good luck.